welcome to our Friday broadcast. How are you guys doing? There's quite a few people in here already waiting. Thank you so much. And somebody had a question about 18.1. The answer is if you have lineage 17.1, stay put. There's no need to rush because if you keep moving so fast, you might get bugs. So, no, there's no particular reason to be rushing to 18.1 lineage. Anyway, guys, welcome to our Friday adult beverage broadcast. And I want to just, first I'm going to tell you what the topic is. The topic is about trackers, something that I don't really talk much about. Yet everyone comes to me and says, why don't you remove the trackers? Why do you have so many trackers? Why are there so many trackers and this and that? And, I never hear the end about trackers. And yet I don't talk much about it. So this is the day that we'll let you ask the question, but I actually will tell you a lot more about trackers and why I don't pay attention to it. It used to be important, but it's not anymore. So because of that, I've changed my approach with it, and I don't really talk about trackers because I think it's irrelevant at this point. So anyway, that's our topic tonight. The other thing I'm going to talk about again is our format. The format is I talk for 30 minutes about the topic of today, and then the rest of the next hour is for Q&A, and you can ask anything you want. And as long as we have time, we can cover it. So the whole broadcast is an hour and a half. If you don't want to listen to the Q&A, then you know to cut off at the 30-minute mark, and that will be the end of the main topic. Well, somewhere around there, approximately. It's never exact because it's a live stream. So the other thing is that somebody will make a comment and say, why do you have all these long things? Why, this format is very long. And yes, I have two formats. Every week on Thursdays on YouTube, I release a short video, 20 minutes long video. That's on Thursdays. And then on Fridays, we have the live stream Q&A. And those are two different things. So if you do not if you don't want to watch a live stream, you will always have the Thursday short video at all times, and they're very specific to a topic. On a live stream, of course, is very freewheeling, and never know what's going to happen. Someone was criticizing me and say, "Oh, you're like saying, like you don't know what you're saying." Guys, it's a live stream. It was a live stream. So if you're able to speak extemporaneously, perfectly, without a script, I've nothing here, for an hour and a half, without any pause and relying on comments from people, I don't know. That's pretty challenging. So yeah, the thing about live streams is it's imperfect. So if you don't like that format, you certainly don't have to watch it. The other thing is, this is still a surprise, and I've been telling you about this for a couple of weeks now, that every time I do a live stream, so many unsubscribe. So it really makes me feel like I shouldn't be doing live streams. And yet so many of you said you wanted the live streams here, the ones that are here watching the live streams. But yet some proportion of the subscriber base always overrides that. And I have so many unsubscribes after every live stream, usually the day after. Like the last live stream, I got 25 unsubscribes. The prior one was like 150. The prior one was, some lower number. But typically, if I'm not talking politics, it's around 25 unsubscribes. But if I talk politics, then of course 50% of you will unsubscribe. So that's okay. That's fair. So I don't complain about that. So anyway, hey, thank you, Chuck. Thank you. That's very, very kind of you. So anyway, that's the format. And if you like I said, if this is not interesting to you, I think I like it. It's, first of all, I get to get the pulse of what people feel, and it's a little more personal, and I get to talk about other things that are not with a specific topic. Like, hey, are you broadcasting from your RV? No, I am not broadcasting. This is not the RV, but in my videos, I am not broadcasting from an RV. On the last video, look closely in the back and look at the port window behind me, which I did not cover. And you can see a dock line. Look closely again. You see the dock line in there. You see the dock line going back and forth. Then you say, what is that? That can't be an RV. There's a dock line. It's not an RV. Okay, so again, thank you, and we will proceed with our topic for tonight, which is about trackers. So why do I even make a comment about trackers? Because every so often, actually quite often, either in a comment on a video or somebody unbracks me or email or somewhere, I'm going to get a comment saying, why do you have trackers on the Braxme website or the Bytes VPN website or the whatthezuck.net website? So I get asked this question all the time. Now, trackers aside, what does that actually mean? What it means is that I have Google Analytics on the Brax.me homepage, the whatthezuck.net homepage, and the Bytes VPN homepage. Yes, I have Google Analytics on those. They're marketing pages. That's what it's for marketing. So some of you are saying, well, you shouldn't have trackers. Well, it's not really fair. The purpose of the marketing page is to get people in there to see the page. So for search engine optimization, you have to have Google Analytics so that Google pays attention and serves it so that you find me. However, there is no tracker of any sort on the app. Once you enter Braxme login, from login on, there's no tracker in there. In fact, they don't even know it exists. There's also things to block robots in there. So if you if you go to any site that says what the traffic is on Braxme, they actually don't know what the traffic is on Braxme. Nobody knows what the traffic is because I block it. Okay? So how many people are there on Braxme? Over 40,000 people are on Braxme, which is not a lot, but it's good enough. I have 250,000 subscribers here, and 1/5 of you, so that's what, 20%. 20% of you are on Braxme, so that's not bad. So anyway, no, I am not going to remove Google Analytics from the marketing pages because that's the point of a marketing page. And then some of you say, well, it's not good for privacy to have all these Google Analytics. Okay, now we get into the crux of it and why I don't really do anything with trackers and why I myself will put it on, and every website will put it on the website. On their homepage or on the website, and I am careful enough to not put it on the app itself, because if you put it on the app, you can actually see who's using the app at any moment. They can actually tell which person is on the app. I'm not going to allow them to see that, so that's not there. They cannot see that. They cannot see who's in the app, who's using the app at any moment. What exactly is this tracker business? What is this tracker? Well, you go to the Aurora store and it says such and such an app has 2 trackers, and you say, oh my gosh, it has trackers. I got to get away from here. And then you have to go to F-Droid to apparently not get trackers. So, and you don't even know what a tracker is. So, and you think, oh, that's a good thing if there are no trackers. And that's the biggest lie that there is. A tracker does not indicate any kind of safety for you if there are 0 trackers. It doesn't mean anything. Yes, it says there are 5 trackers. It says, okay, there are 5 trackers there. But if some site says, I have 0 trackers, that doesn't mean nothing. Doesn't mean a thing. The site with 0 trackers could have 1,000 trackers. It's not going to tell you that. We're going to talk about that. I say this in so many videos, but I haven't really dedicated a video to this. And it's kind of tiring in a way because it truly means that somebody is spreading some of this, like the guy who made Exodus and also the guy that made graphene. and they're spreading this disinformation that's just nonsense paranoia. It doesn't mean anything. So we need to concentrate on what the real problem is. A tracker is a cookie. A tracker is a cookie. There you go. Somebody said that. Tracker's a cookie. Yes, a tracker is a cookie. So what is a tracker? What does a tracker do? A tracker is basically an identity that's left behind, like some numeric code that's left that they can use to say, I've seen you before. So it's basically a fingerprint. It's basically a version of a browser fingerprint. Thank you, Curtis. Thank you. You have taught me so much about IT. Thank you. Thank you. That's so kind of you. So a tracker, in theory, we're back. Let's go back, 6 years ago. A tracker is basically a browser fingerprint. So you fingerprint somebody and you say, "Oh, you were on this. You were on the site that had a Facebook like or Google Analytics, and we see you again on this other site. So you've been on these two sites, and we're going to leave a tracker, and the tracker says, "Oh, we've seen you before. So you're the same person here and same person there. We don't need to log in. We know who you are, and so we're going to track you and store on Google Analytics that you were on these two websites." That's what a tracker does. It tracks whatever you do on the internet and puts it in a database with your identity. Remember that word, identity, and puts it with your identity into the Google database. So you are zocked. You go everywhere on the internet, these trackers will say, "Oh, you've been on this website," and they're cross-site. They actually can leave a tracker cross-site, meaning it doesn't matter how many websites you go to, they can cross that and leave a tracker on each. It only works, though, on two platforms. A tracker is only significant for two platforms. This is very, very important to note. Two platforms. Any small player cannot make sense out of a cookie tracker. Like, I couldn't use it. It's not very useful to somebody like me that doesn't have the reach of somebody big. The only two entities that can do something with trackers are Facebook and Google. That's it. That's it. Nothing else. Amazon couldn't do it. Microsoft can't do it. Yahoo could do it. Twitter can't do it. Nobody else. Google and Facebook. Google and Facebook. Now, how do they do that? The reason they can do that is because every one of you that make a website puts Google Analytics on the website. As I already mentioned, I do too. So because Google Analytics is on the website, you have basically inserted Google into every website. So every website has Google, practically 90%. And then the rest of them have Facebook like buttons. Any site that has a Facebook like button is part of this tracking system for Facebook. No other thing can be put on a website that is globally tracked. There's nothing else that has the same kind of reach where everyone puts it on their website. It's just Google Analytics and Facebook like. There's nothing else. Twitter can't do it. Twitter doesn't have anything. So no one has anything that they can insert on a page that exists in all websites. Now, why is this important? It's important because if you do not do Google on a browser, there will be no way to identify the tracker. Let me repeat that. This is a very important point. If you're a browser and you go to 50 million sites, 50 million, that many, and you go to all those websites and the tracker is tracking, oh, you're visiting all these 50 million websites. That's a lot of websites to visit. And you did it all one day. So must be a fast computer and fast fingers. So we're going to put a tracker on there. So they do put a tracker on there. So now they store the tracker with the identity. And what is the identity stored with the tracker? Your fucking Google ID. So what they need to do is match the tracker with your Google ID. If you do not have Google or do not use Google on that browser, there is no Google ID. If you do not have Facebook or you do not have a Facebook account, there is no Facebook ID. So, what happens to all the collected trackers? Nada. They can collect as many trackers as they want. I don't bother with them. What I do is I isolate Google into its own browser. I do not put Google in with anything else. I kept repeating the story, and I'm going to repeat it again with you. Okay, I have one browser, which is Chrome, which is logged into Google, logged in. And that's where I do my YouTube page and my subscriptions and everything I do with YouTube. That's done on my Chrome page. And on that, I don't know if I use DuckDuckGo or not, but I could even use Google search on that. I could. On that browser, the only thing I will do on that browser is Google. I will not do anything else. I will not go to any website on that browser. Never. Never. I will clear cookies every once in a while. Not that often, but every once in a while I will clear it. But there will be no trackers on there because everything I do there is Google. Okay, Google doesn't need to track you on itself. So on a Chrome browser, they're going to collect my identity. I'm logged in. They know it's the Rob Braxman channel, and they know what I'm doing. If I'm doing anything that they don't like, they can tell you and say, "Hey, Rob Braxman was visiting these sites on YouTube," and they're going to tell you that because they know that. And I'm telling you that I'm aware of what that is. I'm being tracked. So therefore, on that browser, I do what Google wants me to do. Correction, I do go to websites on that browser. I do go on websites, the website that I want Google to think that I like. So every day I click on these websites, websites I would not normally go to, but I would, to convince Google that I'm a certain type of person. So I do that on that browser. So then I'm going to get cookies, and it's going to say, "Oh, you went to CNN." And so then there'll be a tracker there, and the tracker will identify me as, "Oh, you're a CNN type of guy." And that'll be stored with my Google ID, and there you go. So the all tracker business, and I just fed them that information, and they say, "Oh, Rob is a CNN kind of guy." Or Fox News or whatever. You make your own example. Okay? So, now, on my next browser, by the way, I don't care what browser you use. Some people say, why do you use this browser and not that browser? Doesn't matter. You use whatever browser you want. On my next browser, I use Brave. And on this, I do Google too, but I never log in. So, let's say, again, just as an example, let's say I want to go go to YouTube and watch gun videos. Google doesn't like people watching gun videos, especially if you're a YouTuber creator. So that's where I'll do it. Let's say this is all theoretical, of course. So I'm going to go to Brave and I'll go to YouTube, never logging in, and then I can do whatever I want, watch whatever I want, and watch whatever gun videos I want on that channel if that's what I want to do. Okay? But never logged in, and I don't visit any other websites. Mostly I like it for YouTube. I don't really do anything else with it but YouTube. And Brave is nice because it clears the cookies and then it's erased again. And I never logged in, so it's so on the second browser it's pretty random. Okay? And I'm always on a VPN, so they can't track by IP address either, because the VPN is important. On my third browser, that's where I'm going to go to Braxme, to Amazon, to this, that, and that's where I'm going to get a zillion trackers. I'm going to get a zillion trackers on my third one. In my case, I use Firefox. So you don't have to use Firefox. Some of you hate Firefox. That's fine. That's fine. You can do whatever you want. I'm just saying that's what I use. So on the third browser, I don't want it to be Chrome. If you want to use Edge, you can use Edge. If you think Edge is fun. Edge is kind of boring, so I don't like Edge. But if you want to use Edge, it's fine too. So on the third browser, that's where all the trackers are. That's where all there are going to be a million trackers on there. Okay. The problem is, since I never log into Google on the third browser, I will never ever log into Google on the third browser. Never, ever, ever. Never. I don't even clear the cookies. I don't do anything. Okay? Never. So now they can track me all day. They'll be, millions of trackers on there. Millions. Exaggerating. But yes, there'll be millions of trackers on the third browser. But without an identity, they can't store the damn thing. Can't store it. That's what I teach you, people. Don't worry about the trackers, because you cannot stop the trackers, but you can stop them from getting your identity. This is so effective. I don't know what to tell you guys. Stop worrying about sucking trackers. Just worry about your identity and all the problems stop. All the problems. Forget about clearing cookies. If you do what I do, I don't even need to clear anything on the third browser. You may want to clear it on the first browser and the second browser. The third browser, I do not care. They can track me all day. There's nothing to track, because there's no identity. And of course, I don't use Facebook, so I'm in the clear. Okay? Nothing to track. So you don't have to waste your time with, I got to use a certain browser that does cookies. I got to use containers. No, don't have to do that. All you have to do is isolate Google. That's it. Isolate Google. You're done. Do not use Facebook. Isolate Google. Do not use Facebook. You're done. That's it. No one else can make use of the trackers. All of this double click and ads and all this, they're all owned by Google. All of these ad companies, they're all Google. So don't worry about the trackers. If there's no Google in there, they will never be able to match the identity. That's how it works. So I'm telling you the process of how the people who do the tracking, how they do it. Now, why do I not even worry about the trackers? I'm telling you how trackers are outdated tech. Outdated, completely outdated. Completely outdated. Even Google understands it's outdated. A lot of people who Google, of course, is going to stop trackers in the next couple of years, and they already announced that. They're going to go to FLOC instead, FLOC, Federated Learning of Cohorts, and they're going to drop cookie tracking, and they're going to drop IP address tracking. They haven't dropped IP address tracking, I can assure you. They're doing it heavily even more now. So, why are cookies outdated? The reason is you do not need a cookie to track anymore. You do not need a cookie to track. To track you, you just need browser fingerprinting. Browser fingerprinting does not need a cookie. I can browser fingerprint anyone without even storing a cookie. I'll store the fingerprint on my database, and you don't need to know that I stored anything. Therefore, what are you thinking when you're saying you're going to block trackers? You don't even know what the trackers are. Most trackers no longer show up as cookies. Trackers are secondary. They're there in case you change something in your setting, and they can catch you and then match it. But the browser fingerprint is the main one now. So yes, they can use a tracker to cross-check to make sure that you didn't escape their clutch. But if you think that you are escaping with trackers, with a site that doesn't have trackers, wrong again. Wrong, because you're being browser fingerprinted, which does not require a tracker. This is not new information. Everybody knows this. Everyone knows this. Well, everyone here should know that. So So what I'm saying is, don't be obsessed with trackers. It's not worth your effort. What you do is figure out who's actually storing the data on the trackers and stop that. And it's simple. Google on the browser. So therefore, you isolate Google and the activity has to stop because they have no methodology for matching the identity to trackers when you don't log in. Got that, guys? One one by one one by one ping. Yeah, that's a different story. That's a beacon attack. I'm going to. Yeah, you can trust VPN. You don't have a choice. I'm gonna talk about in my next video. My videos are not being very popular lately, so I don't know. I don't know. Uh, what you like. So I'll ask you during the Q&A what you like to hear. I'm thinking that I want to talk about email again because people want to like plan out their email strategy and they're very confused by that. And I want to make a short video, 20-minute video, 27-minute video, talking about how to, what the threats are with email. Like that one by one ping is a beacon. It's an email attack. And what exactly do you do? What are the risks with email, and how to plan it out? So just a strategy session, like how to basically spread yourself around with multiple email accounts and why. So I want to talk about that. It's not really talking about a specific email product. I'm not gonna be talking about whether you should use this email product because they're supposedly secure or that email product. That is not really the point of it. I just want to tell you what the risks are. I don't know if it's going to be interesting, but lately I got to just go back to my usual and tell you what and teach you just the technical details because otherwise I don't know what you guys want to hear from me. So I'll do what I normally do. Okay, I'll do what I normally do, and we'll let the let the cards fall where they may. If you don't like me and I lose subscribers, then it's my fault. So I will continue educating you the way I know how, giving you technical details on how to make your life safe and private. Okay? What are some quality VPNs? Bytes VPN, best one. Bytes VPN. Okay? OPSEC, nobody really. If I talk OPSEC, nobody watches it. This has to be something specific. Okay, now I'm gonna do Q&A and then we'll get into some topics in general. But before I do that, let's talk about one of my favorite companies, which is Linode. Now, Linode has been my sponsor for many months, since late last summer, I believe, and they're still my sponsor. And not only that, they went from being a sponsor to being one of my main go-to cloud server suppliers. I have a lot of servers on Linode, so we're kind of even. They pay me for advertising and I pay them for services, so we even out. So it's like they're getting stuff for free and I'm getting stuff for free. We're both free if you think about it. Anyway, I wouldn't. If you notice, I don't really take any advertisers. I get like advertiser offers many times a day. I get advertising offers from PIA. I don't know, at least every week, and from so many companies asking to be a sponsor. I meant sponsor. To be a sponsor, and I don't take many in fact, Linode is the only sponsor at the moment. So they are the only ones I've been allowing because they really are a good company, and a lot of you have used their services. and you will find that they're very easy to deal with. They're one of the best tech supports I have found, and knowledgeable people, and their prices are really really simple and reasonable. There are no hidden fees. You go to Amazon AWS and you think you're paying X, but at the end you suddenly get this big bill because, oh, we didn't charge you for bandwidth, and so now you're going to get to pay extra. So it turns out that some of those other options turn out to be a lot more expensive. So I've been finding that Linode has been the fairest company that for cloud servers. So if you want to set up a website, want to set up a server, trying out practicing with Linode with Linux servers, you can test out and practice with Linux for $5 a month. You don't have to have your own server. You can use theirs, and you can kill it and fire it up again, and you can play with Linux all day. And for $5 a month, you could do that. So anyway, good company, and if you use my code linode.com/Rob Braxman, they'll give you $100 of credit for 2 months, for up to 2 months. You can apply that $100. So anyway, let's talk about our Q&A section here. So again, I get asked a question: if you bought a phone from me and it's running 17.1, are you supposed to update it if you get an update from Lineage OS? The answer is yes, you can update 17.1 to any build number of 17.1 as you found, because most of those will include bug fixes, security fixes from Android. So yes, you can and should update it. No rush, but do a security update anytime you want. But should you update your phone from 17.1 to 18.1? And the answer is hold on. Security is already handled by 17.1 changes. When you're going from 17.1 to 18.1, now you're talking about feature changes. And then you have to take the risk with the benefit. One of the problems with going from one major version to the other is that the OEM files may no longer be compatible and you may have bugs. And I have found this. For example, Lineage 16.1 worked with Verizon on the Moto G7. Lineage 17.1 did not work with Verizon on the Moto. And then later on, 16.1 stopped working with Verizon on a Moto. So I know it's all Verizon, but it's pain. So don't experiment. So you don't know what's going to happen. You go 18.1, suddenly, it's not going to support some carrier because some bug has been found. Well, Android has a problem. Android has a problem, and that is you can't downgrade. It's very difficult to downgrade. They actually put a restriction on there. So it's a special procedure to downgrade. You can't downgrade without returning the phone to me. So because of that, then if something goes wrong, you're basically, you're going to have to de-Google the phone. And, you're going to waste your energy. So no, don't update to 18.1 unless it's been around a while. And we know that people with that phone model has no problem. Okay, so wait a few months. Okay, so somebody asked a question about Starlink. I'm thinking about getting a Starlink myself. Apparently, my site qualifies for Starlink. I don't really have, I have internet, but I'd like to use it just to test it out. But you can't, I can't put it on a boat. It has to be in a fixed spot. So it would have been nice to see, it would be nice to see, could I put Starlink on a boat? No, not yet. Okay, so it's got to be a fixed site. So if your home is in an area that it can support, the way it works is Starlink will check in with your router every few milliseconds, and it will actually, send data around the area in small clusters, and that's how it will handle the bandwidth. And so because it knows where you're located, the beam will focus on you and start sending you data. If you move the Starlink, then it doesn't work. So because of that, then Starlink is not able to be in a movable kind of environment. So you can't have that on a van or a boat or anything. Okay? So you can't put it in an RV. You can't. I mean, unless you park your RV in one spot. Okay? Make a vid on Fox. It removes facial recognition from photos. It's free from University of Chicago. If that's what I think it is, I did that. Let me tell you what I did. Facial recognition is based on the distance between your eyes and nose, mouth, ears. The geometry of that in 3D. So what I did is I altered pictures of myself and posted on the internet, and I realigned my eyes. It's all very, very slight that you can't really, something's off, but you don't know what. It's just a little bit of, imperfection in the photo. So I did that, and that should screw up the facial recognition. Unfortunately, in my case, it's not going to work because I'm on the internet constantly. You see me on the broadcast here. I can't slow the chat, Meticulous. There's no chat. You control the chat, not me. There's no methodology for me to control chat. There's no button here that says slow chat. Because the chat is you. You're doing that. So anyway, so the hack, it works if you're not seen often on the internet. You could do that. It doesn't work for me. Thank you, Eric. Thank you. Do you think we've lost privacy forever? No, actually, let's talk about that. So in a prior video, last couple of videos ago, or was it last video, I actually wondered how smart the tech companies are. I was assuming that they have AI. They're so super smart with, they got all these MBAs and scientists and all that, and they can afford the most expensive scientists in the world, and and so on, so therefore they must know a lot of stuff. But then I'm seeing what they're doing, and I'm seeing that maybe they're not smart, because one of the things they keep doing is they keep censoring people. They keep censoring, and one of the topics that are heavily censored nowadays is any talk about science as it relates to vaccines. So I'm not going to talk about that because they'll censor me too. In fact, they probably did censor me. That's probably why I'm not getting references from Google. Google's not sharing my videos anymore, and it's probably because of that. So anyway, the point is, topic aside, that they're pushing to censor this kind of discussion on the internet. And as I mentioned to you in the last video, here in California, I mean, it's daily topic of conversation with ordinary people talking about, the anti-V. I can't say it here because they're going to censor me. So the anti-V movement, and there's a lot of them, and I'm surprised that it's actually being discussed while they're actively censoring it, meaning it's not working. It's not working. And they keep pushing it. It's not working. Well, if you're so smart, you would think there'd be a different strategy. Why are you hiding something that's out in the open already? Everyone's talking about it. Instead of hiding it, why don't you push it forward so you can debate it, and then you don't have to hide it instead of doing all the censoring stuff? Because if somebody says it, then you can counter that person and say, watch this video, and we're going to say why that's wrong. Now we can't even do that. So now it's being led underground, but it's not underground. It's being discussed in normal circles. Because it's being discussed in normal circles, then they've already lost the battle. They lost it. They already lost it. And tech keeps pushing the censoring, and it's not working. So therefore, I'm wondering if they're that smart. If they're not that smart, then I'm wondering about what we're worried about with privacy, because I believe that they may have a flaw in the privacy battle, and the flaw is that, as I mentioned, we can knock them out of the park by screwing around with our identity. This has been the big push that I've been saying. If we hide our identity or make our identity weird, by obscuring data, by doing disinformation on our identity, their data will be meaningless. So let's say you're a Democrat and you alter your identity to Google using the browser technique that I said, and you show them that you're actually Republican. Their data will get messed up. They won't know what to do, and then they have to cancel you out and say doesn't count. They have to knock you out and say, this doesn't seem like valid data. There must be an error. If not enough of us do this, their data will be useless. Somebody was saying we need apps that send garbage data on the internet. I wish I have time to make such an app. But wouldn't that be neat? Just leave the browser and it browses nonsense. You select a site and then it just keeps browsing that stuff. And attach it to your Google account, so that Google then gets really, really confused, and you're actually putting those trackers to use. Put the trackers to use. Don't waste them. The trackers are there for your identity, and if you can screw up the trackers by giving them false information, that is perfect. So given this, I think they're actually quite vulnerable. I think we're not as bad as we think we are, because even though they can track us without an identity, they really can fail. Okay? You do not get alerts for this channel at all. Wow. They don't like me. Maybe I'm shadow banned. I don't know what ad nauseum is, but we need to check that out. What about Tails? I already have a video on security where I discuss Tails. Use Tails. Tails. I don't. For normal people, Tails is not exactly user-friendly solution of privacy. You don't need to go that far. What I do, which is similar to what Tails does, is I put a VPN router as a separate device. That's what I keep talking about, VPN routers. VPN router is a separate device as hardware, in which case then it behaves like Tails and Unix, in a sense that you act like a virtual machine, and then your traffic is redirected in whole. It's called SOCKS 5. All of your traffic is redirected to VPN or Tor. In my case, VPN, because it's faster. You can use Tor too, which is slower. So it's not using Tails is difficult, because first you got to set it to be persistent. You can use Tails. Yes, if you're Ed Snowden, you have no choice but to use Tails. Do you need to use Tails? Are you Ed Snowden? Yeah, I run Pure OS on my Pine phone, and of course I have an order for Librem 5. I do not use Pure OS on my Linux computer. I use Ubuntu. It's harder for YouTube to control live than videos. Didn't Zuck ever learn that it's rude to read over people's shoulders? Yeah, the problem is I don't like extensions. Extensions are very dangerous. But I guess if you're going to use an extension and not do anything else on that browser, I guess it's okay. So anyway, I'm thinking that maybe I was wrong in thinking it's too late. I think that if we destroy our identities, all of us, then we could be good. To slow chat, long press on video, tap three dots on top, right corner, choose speed. Where? What video? Long press on video. I'm not on an app. This is a computer. I don't have any. There's a chat option. Participants, pop out chat, toggle timestamp. Nothing here. Nothing. Nothing. There's no. I'm on the YouTube studio. There's no option to do that. Looking everywhere in here, I don't see anything. Okay, nothing. So, what do you think of OXT Orchid VPN running on Ethereum? There are some products that are based on blockchain that are supposedly for privacy, and I wonder why you would want that. I wonder why you would want that, because blockchain means a permanent record. So you want a permanent record of when you use the VPN? What am I missing here? What am I missing? So, yeah, so if you use a VPN and supposedly then they'll charge you in the blockchain, that means they have to record that you used the VPN and a timestamp, and you're going to keep it on a blockchain where it can't be deleted forever. I don't know. I don't know why I would want that. Somebody will have to tell me why. Thank you, Authenticity Seeker. Thank you. Yeah, so one of the reasons there are certain things I do not like with some privacy supposed products, it's because they're blockchain based. And, I don't know why you would want to do that where they have a record of everything you do in a blockchain. Another one is where you post something on the internet and they make your post permanent messaging. That's good if you're trying to be a political kind of guy and you want your words to be available forever. Yeah, that's good for that. But if you want privacy, that's exact opposite. That is not a privacy thing. So for privacy, no, I don't want anything to do with a blockchain recording my activities. I like the blockchain for transacting, with money, which is not connected to that. And that's a positive use of blockchain. But to actually use the blockchain for keeping my data, doesn't make any sense to me. What's your take on cryptocurrency, which is what I just talked about? It's important for privacy. But here on YouTube, I can't even talk about cryptocurrency. Okay, so yeah, so cryptocurrency is one of the best solutions for privacy, but there are many in YouTube land and the rest who don't want us to talk about that either. So we're on a restricted platform here. Whether you like it or not, this is a restricted platform. So all I can give you are hints, and I can't really talk about it in detail because I can't. Did you interview James Corbett? No, I am not interviewing James Corbett. James Corbett is interviewing me. And that's on Sunday. I don't know when he's going to broadcast it. I presume the next day. But James Corbett is going to interview me on Sunday. I think he's recording it. I don't know if it's live or not. I actually do not know. But James Corbett is interviewing me on Sunday, my time, Pacific time. And the other thing is, he was just recently banned from YouTube, and he had like 500,000 subscribers. If you don't know who James Corbett is, you don't have to worry about it, because you're not going to find him on YouTube now. Actually, there's a lot of videos of him on YouTube. It's on the radar now, and the three-letter agency wants your cryptocurrency earnings. Yes, that's always been the case. Is it possible to have 100% privacy and security? If yes, then how can we do this? No, it is not possible to have 100% privacy and security. No, it is not possible to do that. However, if you take certain precautions, you can certainly improve on the odds, hopefully beyond 50%. But if you don't pay attention to me, then you're going to be a lost cause. So, which country do you think spies less on their citizens aside from three-letter agencies that do the global spying? Iceland. You need to go to Iceland. Trying to think, which country doesn't spy on you? Some of them can't spy on you because they don't have the technology. So, obviously countries in Africa, they don't have the technology to spy on you, so there you can escape. But otherwise, I mean, even in the Asian countries, they all have cameras on the streets now. I mean, to a larger extent than even here in the West. So, yeah, there's a lot of, it's harder to attract larger populations, so they can do it in specific areas with cameras. Yeah, Iceland. Nice sailing there too, apparently. Kind of dangerous sailing, but it's beautiful. So can we go to Iceland virtually? Yeah, there's an app for that. I have that app. Beautiful place. I mean, it's isolated. Isn't Switzerland one? No. No sucking way. Switzerland. I'm sure there's a lot of three-letter agency activity in Switzerland. A lot of it. Yeah. You can't say anything about Africa, you'll get canceled. Singapore is a surveillance state, yes. Sweden they're all surveillance state. What are you talking about? So, ask my followers. I have so many followers from Sweden, Denmark, and Norway. Why are they buying the Google phones? Why are they complaining about their governments? Because they're being spied on. No, the Nordic countries are bad. Mexico, the cartels are probably spying on you in Mexico. India is very bad. What are you talking about? India is very, very bad. I mean, the population is so big, but when you get targeted, you're going to be targeted hard. Go ask WikiLeaks. They target you in India. When they target you, they're going to focus all their energy on you. And I mean that literally. Energy. Things that pop your ears, like they did in Cuba. Or which embassy was that where their ears were popping and bleeding from ultrasonic something. Something was happening. So, yeah, so no. Any suggestions to reduce spam? Yeah, of course. Change email. Do you think the U.S. government will add a special tax on Bitcoin? Well, of course they will try to do many, many bad things. By the way, Bitcoin crashed. Bitcoin crashed. You may want to dip in a little bit. You know it crashes 20%. That's really, really good. It needs to crash like 40% and then load up. but you can dip in. You never know. Yeah. So yeah, if it crashes, they don't tax you when you buy. They tax you when they sell. You sell. So the worst the worst country for tracking is probably Australia, New Zealand. Oh gosh, those are bad. So I use KeyPass. Some of you use LastPass. Some of you use Bitwarden. Use whatever you want. It's fine. You need it. But I like KeyPass because it's open source. But what about Portugal? I don't know. Why would it be? It's an EU country, so EU will spy on you. So, why would you think that that makes Portugal any different? KeyPass is KEEP. KeyPass is self-hosted too. So, yeah, I don't, over the years, I found that, I don't think anyone has actually lost data from password managers. So most of the popular ones are all good. I used to use LastPass, then they got bought out, and I didn't like the company that bought them, and I said, let me, switch. So I switched to KeyPass, which is a lot harder to use than LastPass. LastPass is very easy to use. It's the most user-friendly one that you can find. It's really easy to use, but I just feel more confident with KeyPass, so I use KeyPass. What is video game telemetry? I wouldn't worry about video game telemetry unless somebody wants to DDoS you or something, like some player. But generally speaking, you don't have identity of any significance in a video game. You're not giving him personal data. So you're just giving him gaming data. So is LifeLock legit? Hell no! Oh, what the zuck? Oh no! Is Symantec Antivirus, is Norton Antivirus legit? Hell no! That whole company, Symantec, legit? Hell no, that's why they broke up. That's the most dangerous company in the world. What is the best VPN for Android? Is Bytes VPN. It should be on my description there. The company was rebuilding people's video game accounts when they suffered a major server crash. Yeah, but they're not going to lose your personal data. I mean, what personal data did you put in your game? What the zuck? Yes, what the zuck? Pretty much any country with gangsting activity can be suspect. What are your thoughts on tethering apps like Easy Tether? I use a VPN on my phone and tether to my laptop. You have to study what your threat model is. What threat are you defending against? So it seems like a VPN already has your IP address. What else are you trying to defend against? Viruses? Maybe you should use a virtual machine. Why would you use tethering and all that? It seems like a waste of effort. Just use a virtual machine. Does Symantec make the viruses? Symantec existed to spy on you. The old company. The new company is smaller now. So, I mean, they're a big story. Big story. And I talked about them and I got threatened. Tyler, what? 53G? Should we be shutting down our internet at night? No, George or Jorge. You should send them fake activity at night. If you're going to sleep, go put it on a opposite day channel. Don't waste the bandwidth. Use it for something to feed them information. Feed the enemy information. That's the solution. You missed Norton Antivirus? Oh my gosh, don't ever use it. Don't ever use that. In fact, I don't use any antivirus. It's crap. Symantec is a bad threat, and they sold the division. The very bad division was sold to Broadcom. How do you send fake information? It's the beginning of the video. Beginning of this video. Browser number 1. No, and IP vanish is not good. Bytes VPN. Bytes VPN. Do you trust Ubiquiti products after they got hacked? They got hacked? In what way were they hacked? I have Ubiquiti routers. If you could choose between a world with no internet and the world we have right now, which would it be? I would choose the world with no internet because then we can design a different internet. The internet, the way it's designed right now, is really not conducive to privacy. The internet is, the thing about IP addresses and all that, it's not really made for privacy. So if there's no internet, then it gives you a chance to say, oh, let's design something that is not the internet. Something else. No, I need to, the other video I need to make is about Avast, which I believe, didn't AVG buy Avast? I need to do a video about them so you can see what I'm talking about. So no, do not. Okay, I don't, there's a video on it, but giving you a tip right here. Do not use an antivirus. Do not use an antivirus. Do not use Clam antivirus. Do not use Symantec antivirus. Do not use Avast, AVG, Kaspersky, Norton, McAfee. Even McAfee said don't use McAfee antivirus. Do not. Now, can you use some antivirus? If you're on Windows, only if you're on Windows, otherwise don't. If you're on Windows, you can turn on Microsoft Defender. It's free. You can turn it on. Don't do much more than that. That's it. Use an antivirus? No. No. Why do these antiviruses use over 50% of the CPU? Why are you using something that uses 50% of the CPU? Don't use an antivirus. Do not. How do you code for Mac OS? The Spider app sounds great for running on iPhone to feed this information to Apple and Google. You don't need to code for Mac OS. You can just code for a browser. You can make a browser website that does all the disinformation for you. Do you have a video that explains why not to use an antivirus? Yes. How do you get a virtual machine? You don't get a virtual machine, you install it. Like on Windows and a Mac, you install VirtualBox. On Linux, there's a bunch of options. KVM, I have videos on that. VirtualBox. I have videos on virtual machine. There's several videos on virtual machines. You can watch all of that. Again, I have so many videos already that, I keep repeating things somebody says, but I don't. I actually make a new video. It usually has more information than the old one. Okay? Do you know the app session? Is YouTube Vanced legit? I don't know. We need another live show that you want me to get more people to unsubscribe because, since I get so many unsubscribes every video, every live stream, then you want me to increase the unsubscribes. I used to do live streams every single day. Yes, Rex, what's up, Rex? What about Wi-Fi 6? Yeah, unfortunately, Wi-Fi 6 has nothing to do with WPA3. Otherwise, it would have been interesting. Yeah, Wi-Fi 6 is just a speed thing. It's faster. You say LifeLock is not cracked up to be. It's not. LifeLock is a scam. Please. Anything from that company is a scam. It's a scam. Scam. What the heck is LifeLock going to do? Oh, you need LifeLock to protect your privacy. How does LifeLock protect your privacy? Oh, we're going to give you insurance to pay for it. It does nothing for you. Don't waste your money on LifeLock. It's total scam. Oh yeah, they're going to come attack me now. But I've really had enough of Symantec. So LifeLock is total scam. No. Yeah, don't ever use that. That's basically anything sold by that company is a scam. The antivirus, the LifeLock, and used to be every product they sold was pure evil. They were supposed to protect you, but they didn't really protect you. Do not bother with any kind of email encryption service. They cannot encrypt all of it. If you're going to unsubscribe, at the very least, I just ask you to tell me why you're unsubscribing. Because why are 25 people unsubscribing from actually, it's not 25 people unsubscribing. It's how many signed up, subscribed, minus the unsubscribers, and the net is I get net minus 25. So that could have been 100 subscribers and 50 unsubscribers. I don't really know how many unsubscribed. I just know the net effect is when I do a live stream, I end up on the negative. So just pay attention to me. Some don't listen to some of this BS. Oh, you need to get this kind of VPN because they talk about it on the radio, or obviously if it's being marketed to you, you ought to wonder why you get that. I use Malwarebytes if I get a virus. No, if I get a virus, I do a factory zucking reset. That's what you do. You get a virus, you do a factory reset. You think antivirus is going to protect you? Do you really think an antivirus is really going to protect you? Trust me. There are many things that will not be found. In fact, most things. In fact, no 0 day will ever be stopped by an antivirus. That's why they're called 0 days. So antiviruses are good for old viruses that we don't really care about anymore because they're old. Apparently Odyssey now allows live streaming, but I've not used it yet. A couple of weeks ago you said you were a Commodore. Yes, I have a rank of Commodore. I'm a staff Commodore now. It's a permanent rank. Staff Commodore. Which is a not military. It's a yacht club thing. So with a yacht club, you get all those ranks. You start out with fleet captain. My first rank was fleet captain. So yeah, and then 7 years later you become Commodore. It's elected. It's an elected rank. Do I worry about virus hiding in firmware? No, if it's hiding in firmware, it's not a virus. It's malware. Is there a way to eradicate a ransomware attack once it hits the PC? Yeah, factory reset, you lose your data. Is there a way to prevent ransomware attack on the PC? Yes, it's in my video, setting up your PC with a brand new computer and the one that was about Windows spyware. All of those will work. The only VPN I need to talk about here is called Bytes VPN, which is my VPN. And, money back guarantee. You don't like it? Money back. It's uncomplicated. Right? Backup and use the rule of 3 on your, actually one backup. What I do, and I explain this in several videos, what I do is on my PC, I have a second drive. I always put a second drive in. If your laptop doesn't come with a second drive, okay, this laptop that I'm using for this live stream does not have a second drive. So I use this as my second drive. It's USB-C, 2 terabytes. There's 2 terabytes in here. I don't keep any data on the computer. I only keep my data on here. The computer has the programs. It doesn't need a big hard drive. All the data is kept in here, and there's a Velcro. So I Velcro it to the top of the lid of the computer. Put this on, and when it's plugged in, USB 3.0, flash memory. It's very it's as fast as a normal hard drive. Then on my main computer, I have the hard drive built in. So there's 2 hard drives in the computer. One is drive D and one is drive C. Drive C is the one it came with. Drive D is where I put the data. If I do a factory reset, and I have 2 terabytes in my drive D, the factory reset does not touch drive D, so my data is never touched. Same with this. You do a factory reset, your data is on here, it doesn't get touched. The only thing you got to do when you reset is you have to reinstall the software. So this takes half a day to a day to do all that. It's time consuming. Solution, you put the software installation files on here as well so that you can install the software again easily because you kept the files in here. So when you downloaded the software, you put it on here so that when you reset your computer, you can reinstall the software easily. That is the best protection against malware that I know of, and it's certain to kill remote access Trojan, any malware, any viruses. Many pieces of malware cannot be detected by an antivirus. It's really pretty useless nowadays to use an antivirus because they themselves will introduce the malware. They will allow malware to come in there. So that's not something I want. So especially somebody at my level, I'm going to get attacked. The only solution is a factory reset putting my data in a separate drive. Very, very effective. Now, how do you prevent ransomware? Easy. Do not ever be admin on your computer. As a daily user, you should be a non-admin user. Now, guess what happens if you're not an admin user? It cannot write to the files. It cannot write over your system files. It cannot override your data because it doesn't have permission. With all these simple steps, you don't need anything complicated. Nothing. You just have to practice doing a factory reset. Okay? You've heard of Apple releasing new Mac and iPad Pro with Zebra M1 chip in the Zebra AirTags. I don't know what a Zebra is, but the M1 chip, yes. But I'm not going to use one. I mean, an M1 is an amazing thing. But I don't know. You're going to say, well, I'm going to get a M1 chip because it's sustainable, more sustainable. And I'm going to say, zuck that. Do you think multi-factor authentication with YubiKey is worth the hassle? For some things, it's pretty bulletproof. YubiKey is very bulletproof. So for some people, that's important. If you're not really time sensitive, you can do what I do, which is using Authy, which is kind of the same thing. Okay, so YubiKey is very bulletproof. So if you're time sensitive and you want things fast, YubiKey certainly works. But you always have to have the hardware on you. So for work-related things, YubiKey is a good option. M1 and Catalina OS, Snoop even worse than before. Yes, Zebra is the most high-powered laptop for civilians. When Zuckerberg comes out with Zuck phone, will you be buying one? Do you worry about virus hiding in hard drive firmware? No. If you're talking about firmware type of, meaning supply chain viruses, I mean, what can we do about it? That's kind of spy level stuff. I mean, it's not really a privacy issue, it's cybersecurity. And yeah, we do have to worry about it, but nothing I can do about it. Nothing you can do about it. So how do we detect any kind of, malware? That's at the firmware level. That's supply chain. So it's kind of out of our hands there. I mean, we can waste a lot of energy talking about it, but we don't have any input. Thank you for watching, by the way. And yes, please hit that like button. We need to get the algorithm to refavor me again. The algorithm doesn't like me now. The algorithm hates me because I talked politics. I talked about extreme something far extremists, and he didn't like it. And it stopped feeding my videos. Okay? That's the reality. You can watch my numbers drop when I talked about what they do with some of their entities. They didn't like it. So Jumbo Privacy app wanted to be a sponsor. So, and I didn't really feel it was compatible with what I do. James Mason, I didn't say anything. You should have confused the there you go, James. That's right. Confuse the algorithm, for goodness sakes. You've been looking for me, AR? Of course I'm being targeted. Just to show you my impression, so I release a video. I have 252,000 subscribers, right? As of right now, approximately. So if I have 250,000 subscribers, to show a video to my subscribers means there would be at least 250 impressions of my video just from subscribers alone, and normally be higher than that because if they share it outside of my subscriber base. Well, how does a video that's been released for many days have a impression rate of 80,000, which is less than 1/3 of my subscriber base, meaning 2/3 of my subscriber base didn't even see the video. It wasn't even presented on their screen. So obviously Google said, okay, we're not going to go display this guy on the homepage of all of his subscribers. So you didn't even see me on your homepage. 2/3 of you didn't see my videos on the homepage. That means they didn't even share it with anybody else outside of my subscriber base, which is why I got 0 subscribers. And you're saying, was that intentional? Well, duh. Well, obviously the algorithm decided that they're not going to share me. So, yeah. So So, but I had to say what I had to say. So it is what it is. So I'm going to have to build it up again, start from scratch, and not worry about it. Yeah, but it's, yeah, Odyssey is unfiltered. The traffic on Odyssey is regular and constant. Uh, but here on YouTube, it's obviously something. It's weird when you don't even get fed to your own subscribers. I mean, isn't that weird? I mean, if they don't want to feed me to somebody else, okay, so then my number should be 250,000 impressions over a period. But 80,000? So only 80,000 actually saw the channel? Wow. And it's not intentional? Okay. Sure. Sure. You think Rob's not using VPN? That's hilarious. Oh, wait for streaming. That might not be the case. Thanks for your courage. Thank you, Sunshine. You're pretty sure live only shows or sub tab now? I'm sub and rarely get notifications. This is not a notification issue. What I'm talking about is impressions. Impressions is when you see my video on your home page or subscriptions page. Basically, if there are only 80,000 impressions, it means only 80,000 of my 250,000 subscribers even saw the video presented on their subscription page or home page. I mean, isn't that weird? So if you're looking for me for a video from me, I come up with a video every Thursday and Wednesday on Odyssey, Wednesday night on Odyssey, and then Thursday on YouTube, and then Friday do the live stream. So that's pretty much a regular thing, with the only exception being holidays. So as long as there are no holidays, then that's going to happen. And so you can expect that. It's a routine. So Thursday morning, you're going to see a video. So you deleted LifeLock and your computer crashed. One of the first computers created was used to track people for the Nazis after all. Why don't you open a channel on Tata instead of CommuTube? I don't know what Tata is, but I already have. I'm on Odyssey, which is library, and I'm number 18 today on Odyssey. So I got beat out by Odyssey itself. Odyssey has a new channel, and they beat me out at number 17 spot. But that's Odyssey. So Odyssey beat me. Well, it's their platform, so that makes sense. So I'm now number 18 on Odyssey. So that's good, and it's good to be the top one of the top channels on there. So number 15 on Odyssey is Donald Trump. So I'm number 18. Used to be number 17. There was only one person between me and Donald Trump on Odyssey. So thank you, the end of days prophet. I don't know what you're congratulating me on, but thank you. You will investigate. If you don't mind, look the app session for analyze in the future. I think it's in my messaging app discussion. It's on there. I don't think it's one of the ones I recommended though. Thank you, SE. Thank you. Both my laptops crashed due to the antivirus downloads, no doubt. You should do a factory reset. hit the flame over on Odyssey, not the slime. What is your opinion on Yandex? I don't know. I haven't used it. Because you're in 18th place. Yeah, so I got beat out by... Yeah, so I used to be 17th. Now I'm in 18th place. Was beat out by an Odyssey channel. So, pretty much, the only significant names aside from Donald Trump above me in the Odyssey channels are there's a YouTube channel called Veritasium, which is a very big channel on YouTube, very big channel, millions, and then James Corbett and Timcast. They're basically it above me. So not too many channels above me. The rest are like Spanish-speaking channels, or something special that doesn't really that's not really mainstream. A lot of Bitcoin channels. Can we use mobile navigation map without using GPS? No. But if you want to feel safe, buy your own Garmin. Somebody bought a Garmin from eBay for $50. Get a Garmin for your car. So yeah, you don't have to spend a lot of money. How do you protect your banking and personal stuff on the computer if you don't have an antivirus? Why would I care what an antivirus is? An antivirus isn't going to protect my banking. I already told you how to protect your computer. Do not be admin. Do factory reset to get rid of a virus. That's all you need. That's all you need. Okay? An antivirus isn't going to protect you. It's nonsense. My score goes up on Odyssey based on tips, actually. So I've already made quite a good amount of tips on Odyssey. So will Snowden ever get pardoned? Hell no. I'd like him to get pardoned, but they don't want him to get pardoned. The system doesn't want it. So I have 3 Garmins, okay? You thought antivirus was necessary. Hell no. Who told you that? Not from me. Hardware 2FA can't. Is it true that hardware 2FA can be hacked? No, I don't think so. I have a Garmin, but I broke the cord. Why do you need to do data transfer in a Garmin? Just buy a new one. I have heard you can even be tracked on a Garmin. Garmin, who's doing the tracking? The concurrent count of users just dropped. For some reason here, it went from 500 to... Like, a lot of you lost my signal here. Did the signal drop? Do you know how you can be admin on your computer but still have Windows tell you that you need admin rights to do something? How do you update apps if you are de-Googled? That's nothing to do with it. I don't understand the question. Just because it's de-Googled doesn't mean you can't update apps. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, okay. It looks like it's a YouTube error. The numbers just stopped on YouTube, but then they corrected it. YouTube said that, like 300 of you disappeared. Thank you, Blob Monster. Thank you, Is that Taplo? Or Tapio? I can't see from here. Thank you. Anyway, thanks, guys, for watching. And I'm going to go sailing tomorrow. So, like a day off, if you don't mind. So, if you're buying products and want to reach me, we don't ship on weekends, so there's no rush. Okay, I should have a lot of phones available this weekend, but uh, not always around over the weekend. So, anyway, we'll get back with the shipping and all that on Monday. Why are you going sailing? Because I like to. Show us. How do you recommend full disk? Do you recommend full disk encryption? It depends on your threat. I don't necessarily use it myself. It's up to you. It depends on if you who you're worried about. I don't worry about like somebody invading my house and taking my computer, since I don't keep a lot of data on the computer. Okay, so thank you, my friends. Thank you for watching. And if you're going to unsubscribe, like some number of you will let me know why, so I understand what it is. Somebody said they didn't like the sound, so I had to put a see this. I had to put a what do you call it? Cat's paw or whatever that is. So we don't like the sound. We don't like the video. We don't, I just, it's too long. You talk too much. You don't know what you're saying. And you forget it's a live stream. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week, Thursday and Friday. Good night.